So good morning and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have not posted in quite some time and I'm really excited to be getting back on the platform with a sort of renewed sense of purpose and goals for what I'm working on and wanting to be on YouTube and invest in YouTube. The first video I want to make is really just a snapshot of what my life is right now. The past few weeks have been absolute insanity and super demanding. I've been on a really big project and we have a lot of big deadlines coming up before the holidays, so I've been working long hours trying to get everything over the line in time. Right now it feels like everything that my team and that we're collectively doing is just towards that deadline. And unfortunately that means that so many of the great habits that I've built out over the summer and basically the last couple of months have kind of gone down the drain. I have made such an effort in the last year to feel like my career and my work is just one facet of my life, and I want to take the time to make sure I'm reprioritizing and refocusing on the other aspects of my life that make me a happy and well-rounded and fulfilled human being. So I'm hoping to take this Sunday to kind of reset my life, my mental health, and reset my priorities and my focus areas on goals that go beyond just this big project that I'm working on. Happiness is so much more than just my work, and I need to keep reminding myself and putting systems in place and priorities clearly defined so that I can live that out and have my life be more than my work. So anyway, hoping to take you along if this is something that interests you. What are you doing, Beagle? You were to call you a nerd.
How dare you?
B-A-R-B-E-C-U-E.
Isn't that cute?
No, no cute. So I just got back from the store. I feel like I've been on a race since this morning to try to pack everything in, but it's currently 2:30 and I'm just turning on the oven now because I'm gonna do some meal prep. I have found it so much easier to do meal prep on Sundays. This is like a recent addition to the last couple of weeks, especially being vegan. It's so easy to just eat pasta every night with like tomato sauce. And a big part of being vegan is just needing to get all of your nutrients and enough protein, which I feel like, especially given how much I was working out, I definitely wasn't doing, and I was feeling it in my body. And then I'm probably gonna do a little workout, like just a stretch or something like that, because my back and my shoulders are feeling really tight from my press workout yesterday. And then I'm going to finally sit down and do some proper goal setting. So it's currently 5 p.m. and I've officially sorted all of my food prep for the week for Parker and I, and now I'm just sitting down to continue working on my goal setting process. I wish it wasn't dark at 4:30 in London because it makes filming a bit harder, but I have a trusty little ring light that I'm using to be able to film these clips, so hopefully the lighting's not too bad. So the second step after vision boarding that I used to do when I was really into this stuff that I still want to incorporate into my process is defining my life areas. So when I first got into goal setting in 2021, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole of best practices and discovered Tiago Forte's system for organizing digital information called the PARA system, which is super interesting for many things related to Zettelkasten and building a second brain, but I actually found it really useful for the process of goal setting my own goals. Areas are simply facets of your life that are most important to you. So your facets or your areas will be completely different than mine, will be completely different than Parker's. It's basically the areas you want to invest in, you want to prioritize, or you always want to keep track of as you define goals or as you go through life. So I did this a while ago and my life areas haven't changed dramatically, but I do want to redo this exercise both for this video, but also because it's helpful to get me in the right mindset before I do any journaling. So at a high level, I've got my career area, which we know is a big area of focus for me. We have health and wellness. I have sort of my community, and I will have sub areas under each of these, which you'll see, but I'm just keeping it a high level for now. So like my interpersonal relationships, my career, my health and wellness, my sort of mental health. I've got my creativity, which is such a rich and important facet of my life that I see both deeply related to my career, but also just as something I want to nurture in its own right. And then finally, I have, yes, so how can I say this without sounding like super materialistic? So part of the life that I want to build for myself is having an aesthetic that I feel really suits my inner self. But obviously that's more than just like buying cute furniture or like getting a cute wardrobe or stuff like that. Like I actually want to just curate a beautiful life. I want to speak multiple languages, like beyond French and English. I want to travel. So when I did this last year, I just called this bucket Living Beautifully, which I know sounds a bit weird, but it is a nice like area to capture everything. So I've got my areas and then my sub areas, which I'm just gonna link back here. And basically what I then like to do is just have this like master list be a good starting point for me as I set any goals. And obviously I could go the old way, which is, to set goals for each of these areas. But the reality is that I'm probably going to pick a couple of these areas and set goals based on them. Hello. So it's currently 8:15 and I've got a little peppermint herbal tea, and I've got my iPad, my computer, and my trusty Moleskine journal, and I'm ready to set some serious goals, which I've been working towards all day but haven't actually gotten to quite yet. So one of my first steps in actually setting these goals is going in and looking at the area map that I drew out earlier in the day, and literally looking at which areas of my life I currently feel I need to invest in, what feels good for me right now, what are my current sort of goals and intentions. So now I'm going to go into my actual journal. I filled up like 4 or 5 of these over the past like 3 years, and I've really fallen in love with physical journaling, but I find it really easy to show you this information on my iPad. So let me walk through quickly what my goal setting template is. This is just the way I like to do it and the way I've been doing it for quite some time now. So for each goal, I will write down the name of the goal, the related area, because your areas shouldn't change. So you might have like 2 goals related to one area. I find it really helpful, especially when I used to use Roam to track all these things, which is a interlinked database. It was really nice to be able to see every single goal linked to each area over time and how they've evolved. Then I like to write down my intention or my why. So why is this important to me? So after my intention, my why, we get into the actual actionable steps that I'm going to take towards my goal. So I like to outline some projects or some habits. So certain of these goals are really just habits. So for example, hit 10,000 steps a day. That's just a thing that I'm going to do every day. But then you can also have projects. So at some point last year, one of my big goals was to work on my personal brand. And so I had a bunch of projects, which one of them was like, start a website, 2, write 3 articles. And each of those were like a mini project that contributed to my bigger goal over the period of time. And then measuring success. So measuring success is super important. And I like to have like tangible things that I do. So all of my goals that I'll be setting now are for the end of the year. So that gives me about 6 weeks, 7 weeks to complete them. But normally I would give myself a completion date. Normally I would set goals, on a quarterly basis, on a half-year basis, yearly basis, something like that. Okay, so it's currently 9:30 and I'm just wrapping up the goal setting process. My 5 goals between now and the next 7 weeks are to rebalance my workout split in a way that promotes a mix of restoration and strength training and cardio. 2, I want to reinvest in my YouTube channel, as you can obviously see by the production of this video. 3, I was really into books and I stopped, as I explained, so my goal is to read 4 books between now until the end of the year. In order, I want to read Why We Sleep, which I've already started yesterday. Then finally, 1984. It's embarrassing that I've never read it as someone who loves books. Then this nonfiction called The Practice of Groundedness, which is all about sort of finding your passion, proper rest, community building, very much like a self-help book. I love those. And then finally, this novel, it's a queer love story, sort of coming of age, called You Exist Too Much, which I'm really excited about. Then my 2 last goals are like a little bit broader. My 4th goal is to get on top of our finances with Parker going all in on his business. I don't want him to ever feel like stressed out about money, and so I think we should really spend the time to go through our budget and overhaul our process, our money pots, where we're investing, just to make sure that we're 100% on the same page. And then finally, I just want to be kind to myself. Things have been so crazy and will continue to be crazy, and it's great to have goals and to have things I'm working towards, but at the end of the day, I also just feel like I need to make time and space to take care of me, so meditation and journaling and time to sleep and to take care of myself physically. I'm not sort of defining any super specific projects or habits. I set up I think twice a week journaling and then 3 times a week meditation, and just giving myself that space to try to focus on that, but no pressure. So that's it. That's a Sunday of resetting and goal setting in my life for the end of 2022. I'm so excited to be back on YouTube. I literally cannot explain how pumped I am. Really excited to be like producing fun videos and to be playing around with my creativity and just yeah, to be sharing my journey. So much has happened and so much is happening as an expat living in London, and yeah, I just want to share that journey kind of for myself, but also for anyone who might be inspired by it. So that's me. I will talk to you next week, and thanks for tuning in. Okay, bye.